Hi, babes. My name is Mackenzie Ray, and welcome to the second episode of my podcast, What's Inside a Girl. That is the name that I have decided. I'm sorry, these glasses are quite distracting, but that is the name that I have decided for my podcast. Now, it's inspired by a song by The Cramps. The Cramps, they are a band, and I was just like, what's a good name that will kind of like encapsulate my podcast. And I don't think encapsulate's the right word at all. And I decided on What's Inside a Girl. What's inside a girl? But that girl is me. And that what's inside is my brain. So, so that's me making sense of it. This is my mic, but it's also my phone. So like I said, we still have some things going on. AKA a mic, in need of a mic, but that's okay. Like I said, in due time, we will get everything that we need, but for now, we're just gonna chill with the phone because I don't think there's anything wrong with using a phone, at least for now. But then it's like, okay, well, if you're doing a visual podcast, then what's the point of using a phone or a mic? Like, just talk to the camera. But I don't know, I feel like the whole point of having a podcast is like speaking into a mic, you know what I mean? That's what a podcast is. Like, you can listen to it without watching it, and then I want the sound quality to be good if you are listening to it, you know what I mean? I don't know, makes sense to me. But anyways, I just wanted to talk a little bit about my day. So guys, first things first, I went to the Melrose Trading Post today, and I got these jeans, and they were fire, absolutely fire. Like, if you guys follow me on Instagram, which you probably should, I'll post a picture in those jeans eventually, but they're super cool. They look like Chrome Hearts jeans or something, like with the crosses and things. They have crosses on them. I should have brought them in here actually, because I do a visual podcast, so y'all would be able to see them. But yeah, sorry about that. But this is just more encouragement to follow me on Instagram or follow me on TikTok. Just my social media is like that, and you guys will get to see them. But for my podcast, I am going to have a topic for pretty much every podcast. I'll probably do one where, like, I don't talk about anything specific, and I kind of just ramble and see where that takes me. But in the beginning stages of a podcast, I definitely want to have some structure. So last episode was just an introduction, but this episode I want to talk about toxic friendships. Now, I had a list of everything that I was planning on talking about, but and like in what order I was going to talk about them. But I was just like, you know what? I think the topic of toxic friendships is pretty fresh in my brain, considering I just like got out of one, I guess. So, or not just got out of one, but recently got out of one. So why not talk about that? And I think majority of my audience is girls and in my age group, and toxic friendships happen to everybody. I think it's not like girls, like, it's not like it only happens to girls, is what I'm trying to say. However, I feel like girls are just kind of cattier, and they can just be meaner and more hateful than guys can be. And I feel like guys don't experience, I'm not trying to generalize, but I don't think as many guys experience having like really toxic friends like girls do. So that's what I'm trying to say by that. Again, not trying to generalize, but yeah, I honestly don't know where to start when it comes to toxic friendships, because they follow you in life all your life. Just think about how many people you've met in your life. You've had to have at least one toxic friend or one fake friend, or something of that sort. But in high school, I had some pretty toxic people in my circle. High school for me, I was bouncing around through a lot of friend groups. Like, I was new to the school and I didn't know anybody, but a lot of people knew each other because there was a middle school. So, a lot of people that like went to the high school also went to the middle school. So everyone knew who everyone was, but I was new, didn't know who anyone was, and that didn't play in my favor because I didn't have a premeditated idea of what anybody was like. So, I mean, maybe that's a good thing because I was able to learn about people on my own instead of having a premeditated idea on what they were like, because I guess it's not a good thing to have some sort of bias when it comes to meeting people, but it would have saved me a lot of time if I did know. So, where do I even start with this? Freshman year, I had a weird friend group. I don't even know. Like, we were cool, we were friends or something, but we just didn't click. Like, just something about it didn't click. But they were the nicest friend group that I probably had my entire 4 years of high school. Well, I should say 2.5 because the pandemic cut my high school experience short, which, and sometimes I get upset about it, but sometimes I'm like, thank God, because I don't know what I would have done. But anyway, they ended up being the nicest people that I had met, but I was just, I don't know what was going on when I was 14 years old. I couldn't see those people for who they were. I was just too busy thinking about, or I was too busy like trying to live out my High School Musical fantasy, and that did not happen. So let me tell you. Sophomore year, I had a friend group that was a little bit better, but we didn't talk. Or we didn't hang out outside of school. Like, me and my other friend, her name is Tamia. I'm going to use her name pretty often, so you guys need to get used to that. Her name is Tamia, and yeah, I feel comfortable using her name because we're still friends to this day. And her and I pretty much, it was her and I against the world. Like, we did everything together in high school pretty much. We bounced around from every friend group and we did it together. So that was good. So at least I had her at the end of the day. But our second friend group, because we were a duo pretty much, that friend group was not great. They were, of course, they were nice, but we just didn't click on a lot of things. And they were very much into school, which there's obviously nothing wrong with that. But they were just into school and they didn't really do much outside of school or have the desire to do much outside of school because they were so into school and so busy in school. They were taking all like types of honors classes and things like that, which Tamia and I weren't taking yet sophomore year. So we were like, okay, like, you guys want to like go bowling or something? And they'll be like, no, we have homework. So I was like, all right, whatever. So that was that. Junior year, I thought I made the friend of my dreams. I'm not going to say her name, obviously, but if she's listening, this is kind of awkward, but you know who you are. I truly was like, this is my best friend. This is someone who I click with to the nth degree. I don't even know. Like, there's just something about her. We get along so well. We have the same humor. We think the same. I'm a Virgo. She's a Scorpio. It just works. Like, we have astrological compatibility. Just everything is there. Everything is there. And through her, I met this other girl who I was never really close with, but she was always just kind of lingering around. And, we call each other friends, but like, I still have her on social media to this day, and I don't talk to her or anything like that. And then this other girl who's still my friend, and another girl who is not my friend, but So then there was another girl who wasn't my friend. We were friends for a while, but then I realized, I was like, oh my God, this girl is 100% not someone that I want to be around. But, it seems like in high school, everyone has on rose-colored glasses, and it's just impossible to just see your worth and just to see like and just to like wake up a little bit and be like, do you not realize the people that you are surrounding yourself with? Do you not see the person that you are becoming from hanging out with these people? Do you not see, you know, how these people are affecting you? Like, it's just, I don't know what is going on in the teenage brain at this point in time, but I was just so dumb. Like, looking back at it, I don't even know who I was in my junior year of high school when I met this group of people, because I was just a completely different person, you know, and we change for the better. I'm definitely a better friend now, but then I just wasn't. So before I get into any of that, I want to preface what being a friend means to me, the definition of a friend. And for me, a friend is somebody who, you know, someone that, let me actually think about this, because I want to give an actual definition of what a friend means to me, because I feel like I know what it is, but I'm having trouble putting it into words. So someone that I guess influences you. Okay, let me say something that I look for in a friend. I think that will help me answer this question. But something that I look for in a friend would be someone who influences me and encourages me to be a better person. The problem with the friend group that I had junior year was that those people did not want me to become a better person. Those people were keeping me in a spot that was hurting me, I guess. And that wasn't cool. I'm so sorry. This is the best podcast ever. Wait, hold on. What is happening? Guys, what is happening? Guys, what is happening? Why did it get dark? Is that better? What is happening? I'm so confused. Whoa. No. There we go. We'll just stick with that. Wait, now I lost my train of thought. What am I saying? Yeah, the people in my high school or my friend group that I had didn't want me to become a better person, and it was clear. I have to give the girl that I'm referencing as my best friend, I have to give her a name. So I have to give her a code name. I'll call her Red, okay? We'll call this girl Red because she was evil. So I couldn't tell you when our first fight was. I can't remember that, and I don't know in what point in our friendship we had our first fight, but we had fights pretty often. Now, to me and I don't fight. I don't think we've ever fought, ever. And I'm not saying that there hasn't been a time where I wanted to fight her. No, I'm just kidding. But we've never, like, really fought on anything or, like, had a major disagreement or a major issue. Nothing like that. And almost, I would like to think that every, like, real friend that I have and still have, we've never fought. Ever. Like a real life argument, I don't think so. I don't think I've had like arguments with my friends. But with this girl, we had arguments all the time, or just disagreements or misunderstandings, whatever you want to call them. And it was just really bad, but it was always something that she was doing that made me feel bad about myself. And you're going to be like, okay, well, why are you blaming her? Like, you might have had a part in this. But as much as I want to say that I didn't have a part in it, I didn't have a part in it. A lot of the time, she tried to make me feel bad for a lot of things. Or she tried to make me feel dumb or try to embarrass me in front of other people. And that was always my main problem, was I don't know if I'm going to get embarrassed by, our friend group today. I don't know what she's going to say about like the way I look today, because she would comment on like my appearance and things like that, and like very disrespectful, sometimes like racist, colorist comments that were like, whoa, what are you talking about? And this girl was white. I think that's an important part of the story, especially if she's making jokes about like my skin color or anything like that. Like, that's not okay. But it was just a lot of that was going on, and I just would sweep it under the rug, and I'd be like, okay, whatever, it was just a joke, stop taking everything so personal, like, it's fine, like, it has nothing to do with you, she's just kidding, that's how you guys joke together. Which is like, no, if something is bothering you, you should be able to say it. Like, I didn't like that, or what you said, like, that hurt my feelings, or I would appreciate it if you didn't say things like that to me anymore. And I did say things like that sometimes, but sometimes I would fight fire with fire and say something even more hurtful to her, which is never the answer. Fighting fire with fire, that doesn't work. But I would still do it, and it made me like such a hateful person, and then it seemed like we had this unspoken hate for each other. Eventually, we started to not like each other, I feel, but neither of us were saying anything. We never had conversations about anything. And I think that's also important in a friendship, is having communication, just like any other relationship. Be able to say when something is bothering you. And I maybe did that 3 times, and she was like, okay, I'm sorry, and we just moved on and pretended like nothing happened. So, yeah. So that was Red. We'll get back to her in a little bit. But this other girl, I'm just going to call her Blue. I'm just going to call her Blue. So she and I we were close. I think we were pretty close. And things were good. Things were good between her and I. At this point in time, at least. Things were okay. Like, when Red and I were, like, the closest to friends that we had ever been, Blue was... She was my friend, and we were close, but she wasn't, like, close with Red like I was close with Red. That's an important part of the story, too. So... yeah, things were whatever. Her and I never got in any fights, really, and that was what it was. Now, Tamia at this time, she was in a different friend group, which was so weird and almost, like, hurtful to me in a way, because I was like, whoa, why doesn't she want to be friends with, this group anymore? But honestly, now that I'm looking at it, like, 2 years later, I completely understand why she didn't want to associate with that group. But, that is what it is. Plus, I admit to leaving her for Red. Yikes. I'm sorry about that. I just got a little bit too close with Red and kind of just forgot about Tamia, which is lame because she was the nicest friend that I made in high school. And I had no business just kind of, I don't know, like scooting her out of the way for someone that in the end didn't even really care about me. So, Red was very evil to people in ways that I did not approve of. But because we were quote unquote friends, and because we were so alike, and because we were so similar and had so much in common, I felt like I had to be the same way. And the way that she treated people rubbed off on how I treated people. So if she would like make fun of like someone and the way they looked at school, I would do the same thing. Or if she would take pictures of like someone in the classroom to make fun of them, I did the same thing. And it wasn't that's not cool, you know? Like, looking back on that, like, I would never do that. Like, just making fun of someone for just sitting there. It was lame. But her attitude was also very negative, and I'm pretty sure she had some sort of insecurity or something that she was going through on her own that had nothing to do with me. But I felt like she was taking out a lot of that hatred. She was taking out that hatred on other people, and in some cases, me. And it almost felt like I was in a toxic relationship because, you know, instead of our friendship going like a steady graph, you know, a steady graph, like us getting to know each other, and then it keeps going up and things are really good and we have so much in common and this is great, and then I'm at the top and I'm like, okay, cool, this is my best friend, I love this girl. Rather, our friendship was like an EKG, like ebbs and flows. It was going up, like things were really good, we had really high highs, but then we would have really low lows. And I never wanted to stop being her friend because I was terrified of the really low lows. And it was literally like I was in a toxic relationship. Like, when people describe toxic relationships, they describe it this same sort of way, I feel. Like, when things are really good, they're really good, and when things are bad, they're really bad. And because I was so reliant on this girl, and because I relied on this girl for my happiness and relied on this girl for a personality that was not mine, I did not know what to do when I wasn't around her. If she didn't go to school one day, or, you know, if we stopped talking for a little bit because we got in an argument, I would cry my eyes out. I would cry for days because I would be like, oh my God, I haven't talked to Red. I almost said her name. Oops. I would be like, oh my God, I have not talked to Red in days. I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to act around like these other people in our friend group. I don't know what to do. And it's like, whoa, you need to relax. There's no way that I was literally her, like a clone of her or something. And I think that's what she tried to do, was make clones. But yeah, looking back on it, I'm like, I cannot believe that I cried over this girl. Like friendship. This was friendship, by the way, guys. This was friendship. But I understand how this might sound a little bit like we could have been more than friends, or like, I don't know if anyone's going to interpret it like I was in love with her or something, but it wasn't like that. It was just kind of, she knew what she was doing, and I was wrapped around her finger. And people, that's crazy how like manipulative people can be. But I had to get out of that. So at the end of junior year, or like the beginning of junior year, like when the pandemic first started, actually, because we don't really know when like the pandemic really started, but in like March of 2020, when things started to shut down and things like that, her and I went through a rough patch. Like, it was very rough, and I was spiraling, and I'm like, oh my God, like I don't even remember what our argument was about, but it was something where I was just like, I'm so tired of being your friend, and it should not be this exhausting to be your friend. That's how I felt. I was absolutely drained at this point, and I'm like, I don't even know who I am anymore. I don't even know, because I've followed you for so long. I've been trying to please you for so long, and you don't even care about me. You want to make fun of me in front of other people. You want to embarrass me. You don't want to invite me to things. You don't talk highly of me when you talk to other people. You try to blackmail me. That's a different story. I don't even really want to talk about that. But had pictures of me like that she could literally blackmail me with. And I was just like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing it. I'm tired. So when I got to that point, my breaking point, and when I was absolutely tired, I was just like, Lord, have mercy. What am I going to do? So school shut down, and I was like, thank God, because I don't have to be around her. I don't have to see her. So I'm like, all right, this is good. I'm just going to unfollow her on everything. And I did. And poof, she was gone just like that. And I'm like, thank the Lord for quarantine. Thank the Lord for online school. Like, I don't have to deal with any of that anymore. Thank God. I was wrong. In this moment, I started to get closer with Blue. Me and Blue started to become good friends. Me and Blue started to become buddies. And that took me on the same exact emotional roller coaster. And that lasted way longer than I would have liked it to. It probably ended in October 2021. So Blue and I were already close, but we started to get closer in quarantine and whatnot. And, doing the same thing, FaceTiming every day, Snapchatting, the same old routine. And Blue knew that I was having issues with Red and that we weren't close anymore. And things just weren't the same. Like, things weren't how they were when we were in school. So she was like, okay, that's that. So she was like, all right, well, let's bring in another friend. Now, this girl, I don't know if I can use her name, but we're still cool. We're cool. I don't have any beef with her at all. Should I use her name? Actually, no, maybe not, because I don't like talk to her on a regular basis, so that would be kind of awkward. Are you guys gonna snitch? You guys look like you'd snitch. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna call her, I don't want to give another color. We'll give her another color name. We'll call her Purple. So Blue was like, should we bring in Purple? Oh my God, Blue, Red. Blue and Red make Purple. Weird. Interesting how I did that. Anyway, so they're like, Blue. She's like, should we bring in Purple? And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. So it's me, Blue, Purple, and Tamia. And we are a friend group now. And we, hung out in quarantine and things like that. And we were getting close. And I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, I like this. Like, I don't need Red. Like, I don't need Red at all. And that was that. But things took a turn for the worst when it was the four of us hanging out all the time. Things got taken very personal when we wouldn't all hang out together. So Tamia and I would go off and hang out, just the two of us, which we did all the time, which we have been doing since freshman year. So I was confused why it had been a problem. But her and I would hang out. And Blue and Purple got really offended by that. And they were like, whoa, why are you hanging out without us? And I was like, girl, what are you talking about? Like, me and Samia have literally been friends since 9th grade. Like, we have been hanging out, just the two of us. Like, we don't always have to hang out, the four of us. Like, if you and Purple want to hang out, then go ahead. You guys have fun and do that. Like, that's your guys' business. That is what it is. Like, we don't always have to hang out together. Like, just because we don't hang out, that doesn't mean that we're not friends, right? Wrong. Apparently, they were like, oh, you're excluding us. You don't want to, like, be friends with us anymore. That's so weird. Like, pretty much gaslighting. Is that gaslighting? Trying to make us feel like we did something wrong. I don't think gaslighting is the word. Deflecting? Yeah, maybe deflecting. Trying to make Tamia and I feel like we were in the wrong and we were being bad friends and this, that, and the third, when in reality we were just hanging out like we do all the time. So I started to see Blue's true colors by then. And I was like, okay, this girl is definitely the jealous type and is even jealous when it comes to friends and things like that. But when this started happening, and me and Tamia would hang out together, I noticed that her and Red would start hanging out together. Huh. That's funny. That's a little silly, right? But Purple pieced out at this point, and she was like, honestly, guys, wait, hold on. Quick sidetrack. This happened like a while ago, like 2020. So my memory is a little bit cloudy because because I've chose to forget about this stuff because it's just crappy. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, what I went through. So stupid. But anyway, it's made me a stronger person. But let me finish. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Purple pieced out at this point because she was like, I'm not hanging out with Blue anymore. Like, she's fake. She's mean. She is manipulative. All she wants to do is talk about herself, and she never cares about how I'm feeling and all of that. And I was like, okay, I don't get that. I don't understand why you would feel that way, but go off if that's how you feel. I should have left when Purple left. Let me just say that. So Blue and Red start to get really close and hang out a lot. And I'm like, okay, T, I guess. But just because, Blue and I are friends, that doesn't mean that Blue and Red can't be friends. I guess. Even though, personally, I feel like if you're my friend, you're not going to hang out with people that I don't like. If you're my friend and if you're devoted to me and you care about me and you like me, then you're not going to hang out with people that talk bad about me and that did me wrong. I'm not going to allow that. But whatever. That's none of your business. I'm not around. If you want to hang out with her, you can. So they start hanging out, and through this, like all this time, Blue sends me TikToks every single day, pretty much saying things like TikToks that were like, when your friend leaves you out, or when you think someone is your friend, but they're not, when your friend, like all this stuff that's alluding to something about me, I guess. And it was so weird because Blue never had beef with Tamia through this whole entire thing. It was just always me that she had an issue with. She would post things on her Snapchat about me. Whenever I would hang out with Tamia, she would be like, I hate when girls, exclude me and all this stuff. And I would be like, what are you talking about, my girl? Like, I would respond to her stories and she would be like, I don't know what you're talking about. What? She was crazy. Anyway, so I'm like, all right, whatever. This stuff would happen often. She would either send me a TikTok that definitely, without a doubt, had something to do with me. She would post things on her Snapchat that were cryptic, and that would be like, oh, this girl, blah, blah, blah. She would make TikToks and post things about me, like literally describing me to a T, or describing a scenario that we were in, and I'm like, she's talking about me. Like, without a doubt, she's talking about me, and I would show it to Tamia, and she'd be like, whoa, that is weird. Yeah, it's a little weird. So I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything, because when I do, she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. Okay, babe. And this is honestly really hard for me to remember, because I just don't remember a lot of it. I know that because there's just so much stuff that happened. It's so hard to like think of a timeline of when these sorts of things happen. But I want to get to the part when it was my birthday. So my birthday's in September, so it was right after the summer. Hold on one second. Sorry. So September, right after the summer, and we're on online school. Like, we're not in school or anything like that. We're on Zoom and everything. We're doing the whole thing. And it's my birthday. Happy birthday to me. And I'm not sure what happened before this. We might have had a little cat fight, a little something before this because she was acting really weird on my birthday. So I invite her to my birthday, she comes over. And when she's walking up, because I have a driveway, like a long driveway that you have to walk up to get to my front door. So she's walking up this driveway and she's on the phone, like FaceTiming somebody. And I'm like, okay, I wonder who she's FaceTiming. She comes to my door and I'm like, hi. She's like, hello. Like very nonchalant, very, very dry. And I'm like, what's up? She's on FaceTime with, who could it, oh my God. Who could it be? She's on FaceTime with Red. Woo! And I'm like, what is happening here? What's going on? She's like, oh, nothing. Anyway, I'll call you back, talking to Red. And I'm like, oh, cool. Cool. So, if you guys, on my channel, my Euphoria birthday party vlog, she was there. She wasn't in any of the pictures. So it wasn't anybody in the pictures if you watch the Euphoria vlog. But anyway, she, is kind of like pouting the entire birthday. She's just pouting, in a bad mood, doesn't want to do anything. We play games, she doesn't want to play. We eat, she doesn't want to eat. We're taking pictures and she's just sitting on the couch and I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, I'm fine. And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, I don't want to take pictures. And I'm like, okay. Like, I'm trying to include you. Like, I'm obviously trying to include you. She's like, no. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, this is my birthday. I'm sorry. Like, it's my birthday. I can cry if I want to. Not your birthday. You can't cry if you want to. So, taking pictures, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay, I'm going to go. And I'm like, all right, you have fun. Tell me why. When she told me, because at this point when she told me that she was gonna leave, I was distracted doing other things and I was with my other friends. She was on FaceTime with Red in my house, on my day. Absolutely not. So that threw me for a loop, for real. Threw me for a loop. She is posting, my bad. She's FaceTiming with Red. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So then she leaves. And everyone else leaves, but Tamia spends the night. I check on my Snapchat story that night, and why do I see on her story that she had posted a picture with Tamia in the bathroom? Like, they took a picture together. Like, they took a picture, like, smiling in the bathroom together. And before anyone is like, ooh, Tamia was fake for that, like, I'm not blaming Tamia for that because Tamia, other than me, was the only other person that she knew. So she was like, okay, well, I'm at least going to take pictures with her. And so she did. So when I saw that, I was like, that's funny. That's funny because you didn't want to take pictures with me on my birthday, but you're going to go in my bathroom and you're going to take pictures with Tamia? What? That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry. So that was that. Lord, I have to, like, get on with this story because, honestly, it's just, like, dragging on. So, long story short, a lot of stuff like that was happening. Just a lot of contradictory things that were showing that she wasn't my friend. And she didn't care about my feelings. She didn't care about anything like that. She was just very much into... I'm not sure. I don't know if it's a jealousy thing, but I hate to be like, oh, she's jealous of me. Like, girls are jealous of me. But it might have been that. So she was like, okay, well, let me get back at Mackenzie if I can by getting closer to Red. So fast forward. It's May 2021. It's her birthday. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll get an invite. And it's crickets. So I'm like, okay, it is what it is. Maybe, pandemic's still going on. Maybe she just wants to spend time with her family. Like, nothing wrong with that. I look on her story. And why is Tamia why are Tamia and Red at her house celebrating her birthday? I said, absolutely not. Before all of this, we were talking, everything was normal. She was still annoying and still like, having some sort of weird attitude towards me. So I thought everything was fine, but apparently not, because she was posting on her story, things from her birthday and just being like, oh my God, like I'm having such a good time with my friends. And I'm like, where am I? Where was my invite? So I mentioned it to her and I bring it up and I'm like, so what's going on? Like, if we're not friends, just say that. Like, I remember I said something like that and she was like, what are you talking about? Once again, trying to gaslight me, make me seem like I'm crazy when I'm like, I saw what you posted on your story. I know what's going on. And I was like, if you don't want to be friends, just don't be friends. Just stop leading me on. Stop with these games. Like, I just don't have time for it. I don't. If you don't want me in your life, if you don't need me in your life, that's fine, because I don't need you either, quite honestly. And she was just like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I just know that you and Red aren't close, and so I didn't want to invite you because I didn't want it to be awkward for you and I didn't want it to be awkward for her. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. You could have had something with Tamia and Red and then later had something with me and Tamia, you and Tamia. But she was like, I didn't have time for all of that, and just making excuse after excuse after excuse. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be anywhere and I'm not going to stick around if I'm not wanted. Like, plain and simple. But I did. But I did, because I'm dumb and because I don't learn. Actually, no, I'm not dumb. I just had some dumb moments. So at this point, I'm tired and I'm drained, just like I was with Red. It's Red all over again. And I'm like, I hate this. I'm so tired of this. I'm drained. I'm exhausted. I don't know what's going on. And this was the straw that broke the camel's back. I don't remember when this happened, but this was my breaking point. She sent me a TikTok, and it was something about going to Paris. And she was like, I want to go to Paris so bad. And if I go to Paris, I'll go with you. And, like, you would be the person that I would go to Paris with. And I'm like, okay, like, talking out of your ass. Like, I really don't care. And I look on her story, on her private Snapchat story. And this all happened in the same day. And she posted this TikTok that she had made with, like, whatever. I don't remember what song it was, but something about, like, these are the best people in my life, and I appreciate these people so much. Like, these are my trio. And it was pictures and videos of, you guessed it, her, Red, and Tamia. And I was like, okay, got it. That was enough confirmation for me. And right there on the spot, I unadded her on everything. And it took her a while to notice. But I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say like, you suck, you're the worst person ever. I definitely could have, but, I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because I've said everything that I could say, and I'm just tired at this point, and there's nothing left to do than just to break it off completely. So on TikTok, I responded to her on TikTok, and to the thing that she said, like, I want to go to Paris with you, I said, go with your trio. And those were my famous last words, and I unfollowed her on everything. I said, go with your trio. Go ahead. Go. Don't worry about me. And that was that. And I haven't heard from her since. And I couldn't be more happier and relieved. More happier. That's not correct grammar. My apologies. I couldn't be more happy. And I was over it. And enough was enough. And I was like, I have bigger and better coming. I'm going to college. I'm going to meet new people. I do not need you. The second one person leaves your life, when someone leaves your life, a new person enters. Okay? That was my mentality. So with all of that being said, the toxic friendship thing is a lesson and definitely something that I had to go through. And I don't regret it at all. Why am I going to cry? Am I okay? We're not crying here, guys. We don't cry on the podcast. We're not going to cry on the podcast. Like, no. What am I saying? Oh my God. I couldn't be more grateful that I had those experiences, actually. Because if I didn't, then I don't even know who I would be to this day. Because in that time where I was so lonely, after being friends with Red and not knowing what to do, those were the times where I figured out who I was the most. Same with Blue. I was like, okay, I don't have these people to influence my thoughts anymore, so I can finally figure out who I am. And it was truly a journey of self-discovery that I didn't think that I would have to pursue or endure so soon in my life, but I couldn't have been more grateful for it. And I'm not saying that I have it all figured out now and that I know exactly who I am now, but I'm definitely more cautious and more careful when it comes to choosing who I surround myself with and who my friends are. Because I don't deserve that. I don't deserve to have the life sucked out of me by another person that, says they love me, but they don't, and that goes with a lot of things. That goes with relationships. Okay. That goes with family. All right. Ultimately, I get to choose who's in my life. Okay. I get to choose. And I chose not to have those people in my life because Red was making me a person that I didn't want to be, making me a hateful, evil, disrespectful person. And Blue was just making me insecure, and she wanted me to feel as bad as she did. She wanted me to hurt like she was probably hurting. And if it's one thing that my Christian upbringing taught me is that we need to forgive. And I forgive what they did to me. I'm over it now. Well, Lord, I'm over it, but I cry about it. No. I'm over it. Like, it is what it is. It happened. But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. But I forgive them. And I hope that they're in a better place now. And I hope that they don't treat people the same way that they treated me. That's just the way it is. And that's, that happened to me, and I have to accept it. And there's probably going to be more people in my life that are like that, but I just have to remember this experience, and I have to remember how bad it was and how much it drained me and just made me a completely different person. So, on that note, I want everybody to do the same thing. And if a person is not contributing to your life positively, then you have no business keeping them in your life. You really don't. And talking inspirational is not my tea. Like, I don't like inspirational type talks, but I'm trying to deliver this in a informative way rather than an inspirational TED Talk kind of way. So, know your worth, know what you deserve, and know that you don't deserve anything less. No. If people don't reach your standards, they're not worth your time. There's nothing wrong with having high standards in any kind of relationship. We'll definitely get more into that on another podcast. But for now, you guys are smart. You guys know what to do. So yeah. That's that.